more and more data, which we in turn put into all of our different systems and sites so that you too can access that data in terms of being able to do what a lot of you do already, which is use applications that are available today to allow yourself to move around the city in a better. I'm happy to announce we have a new partnership with Waze, for example, and I'm sure many of you use it because it is the world's largest community-based traffic and navigation application. And Waze will provide the city with alerts about collisions and lane blockages happening across the city that we can integrate into our traffic control system, so we will know about these things through another means, because even though we have, what did I say, 234 cameras, that obviously means there are an awful lot of places where we don't have a camera. Now we will have Waze and its very excellent reporting system reporting in to us. And we'll be able to push out updates to the Waze users about things we know are going on with respect to emergency construction and things like that. We will be introducing the traffic signals I talked about using the procurement method that I mentioned earlier on. So instead of just saying we're going to put it out for bids and take the low bidder, we're going to try 5 technologies. Maybe they'll all be deployable in some part of the city or other because they all work in a different way. But the bottom line is we are getting the very latest technology to be piloted this year in the City of Toronto, and a selection will be made, I hope, by the end of the year or early next year with these smart signals across the city. And we're going to do one more thing, which is to bring in a smart streets program. This is all part of it, that is going to, for once and for all, actually have a plan to deal with deliveries and people who have to do business in the city in different ways, including what I mentioned earlier on, Wheel-Trans and different things that we know are a fact of life in the city. And what we've done before is we put up a sign here and said, fine, there'll be a delivery zone. I saw one down Shepherd Street here, and wouldn't you know, typically there were 2 vehicles that looked an awful lot like private cars parked in the delivery zone, not delivery vehicles, and that's what goes on and why we have to enforce the law. But we're going to have more of this done in accordance with a plan, as opposed to putting up a sign here and making a declaration there. We're going to have a plan that covers the entire core to make sure there are places where people can deliver things as they must and times they can do it. And we're going to be bringing that plan in coming this fall. And, you know, it's going to be a big improvement because the ad hocery of the past led to an ad hoc result, which was that some places you could count on things being done effectively and other places you couldn't. And finally, I have asked Chief Saunders again to have a renewed enforcement blitz this fall. When we've done them, they work really well. What happens, though, human nature being the way it is, that as soon as the police officers in large numbers go away, people resume some of their old bad habits. And so we're going to have another blitz in the fall. There's nothing that gets a message through to people better than having their car towed away, quite frankly. Well, it's just the truth. I mean, we've all had the experience. It happened to me years ago only once. That's all it took. And I just came out and I thought, geez, I'm sure I parked my car here. And indeed, I was right, I had. It was gone. And when you go to that place that is quite far away, where the people look quite gruff behind the counter and present you with a very large bill, it tends to sort of focus your mind next time on not doing it. And we're doing some other things, too, and I want to just single out one public servant of ours by the name of Kyle Ashley, and he is taken to, he's a parking enforcement officer who works for you, for us, and he has started to monitor the parking of vehicles in lanes. We need to have bike lanes. This is a part of a 21st century city, and not everybody bikes every day, and not everybody bikes every day all year, but increased numbers of people by the thousands are using bicycles in this city and many other cities around the world. And Toronto has to try and keep up with that. And again, I know that's going to be controversial with some. What he's doing is simply focusing and receiving messages through his technology, through his smartphone, of people who are parked in bike lanes, which is just, again, inconsiderate, ridiculous behavior when we have the bike lanes, and it's unsafe on top of all that, and so I want to commend him for that kind of thing. So I've talked in a very granular way today, not about a big, bold vision. I could share that with you, too, and I will do that another time because there are a lot of things we're trying to do that are visionary and that are bold on behalf of your city to make sure. I say the test for me will be a test that I will not be in office to see measured. But the real test is whether, when I've left office, and I've promised if I can get elected a second time, I promised my wife, it's the most important promise you make, that well, mind you, I did promise her a year after we got married 39 years ago that I would quit politics, but I'm working on that. I've said the date is soon to be at hand. But if I can get another term, I've said I would only serve 2 terms, and I think that's right, too. I think you need fresh up from time to time, and it will be time to move on. But I hope that by the time that I leave office, we will have achieved a lot of these things and be on the way to what I think the real test is, which is 25 years from now, will Toronto still be one of the most livable cities in the world? And the decisions we're making today on shelters, which I talked about in recent days, on affordable housing, on the economy, on transportation and getting around the city, on how we reduce some of the gap between those who are comfortable and those who are struggling. And on it goes. Those decisions on Rail Deck Park, those are the decisions that will determine the answer to the question in 25 years. Decisions being taken now. And that's what I want for this city, is to be still one of the most livable cities in the world, with the very same narrative about us that isn't just about our physical livability, but is about the fact that we do have that narrative that is different. It's the world with the open arms and the open heart and the open minds and the smartest people and the most hardworking people and the people who care most about each other and the people who are not going to turn inwards when some of the rest of the world is doing so. And I think if we can keep doing that and address some of these very practical concerns, we can be what we are today. And I believe it in my heart, and I sell it all around the world with Jan and many others who I take with me from the business community and from the labor movement. A great thing, by the way, we went to Hollywood to sell us as a place to make movies, took the companies and took the unions, both. And it sent a signal. They hadn't seen that before. And that's the kind of collaboration. But I'm able to say when I go there, as I say today, we are lucky to live in the greatest city, in the greatest country in the world, and long may it be so. Thank you very much.